Well, welcome back to another episode of So Glad We're Friends. I'm Maggie.
I'm Devon.
I'm Brittany.
On Armchair Expert, Dax was saying that he turned off the ability for people who are not following them to comment. So other people can see their videos, but you're not allowed to comment on it unless you're a follower, which I'm like, I didn't know that was a
Armchair
feature.
Expert? I mean, on Instagram?
Yeah.
You know, I think I do know that that's a feature. But I guess I haven't really thought about doing that.
Which
I
is
did
kind
not
of
know
cool.
that.
But also like what makes videos go viral are like people arguing in the comments, which is stupid. But
Yeah.
so like
That's what it is.
It's like they don't
it's a cool
need that.
feature. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they don't need higher engagement.
That is
Yeah,
really fun.
exactly.
Okay. Weird. I started Armchair Expert again, and I like it.
Oh, which one did you listen to?
Did you start it again because they opened up to all the platforms?
No,
just
I was
separately?
I was driving a lot this weekend, and so I didn't really like any of the podcasts I was like listening to, and so I went to Armchair Expert. I was like, okay, who would be like an interesting person to listen to? So I listened to, which one would I listen to first? I like scrolled a little bit. 1 second, I'm finding it.
Maggie
Natalie
looks
Portman.
so excited.
I'm so
Oh,
excited.
yeah.
I listened to Natalie
She's
Portman.
interesting.
That was good.
But I was like, I wish I would have listened to it because I think what she did or what she's doing is so cool and really aligns with like Barbie and like all of that movement.
The sports team, is she?
Yeah, the
one who has
sports team.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
and
really
but
cool.
she's like really doing it. She said what resonated with me and what got me really excited was that she has brought people from different industries together to like unite on one thing to help more women, which like isn't always done. It's not like across, you know, different industries that people get together and do this sort of thing. So I love that one. I want to watch. Did you guys see the documentary or like the
I didn't
show
actually
with
watch
it?
it.
I might try
I'm
it.
interested though. Yeah.
I thought that was so cool too. Did you listen to any like Armchair Anonymous or any of the like?
No, I don't know if I can get into those yet, but
there's
a lot. There's so many of them. I'm like, what
every week?
Yeah, they have a lot of shows.
So is there a nature versus nurture every week?
Yes, but now they're on. It's season 2, but they're gonna like it's on a separate profile. Like you have to go to the nature versus nurture page. I love that podcast though. Like I feel like it heavily preps me for parenting and also just like thinking about myself. Like it feels like a therapy session.
What is the like blue ones?
Experts on Expert.
Okay.
That's where they interview like an expert and not a celebrity.
And then what is
Synced?
Synced?
Those are great.
What is what?
Synced.
Oh, that's Monica and Liz. They have a podcast where they like answer questions for women and stuff.
Okay. Because they did one where they were like freezing their eggs and doing like the fertility treatments and everything, and then people really liked that, so then they started a new one.
And then what about this flightless bird one?
So that's David Farrier. He was like stuck in the US because of COVID and stuff, and he's from?
New Zealand.
New Zealand, yeah. So they did like a different American topic every day. Like today's was storm chasing. Yeah, tornado chasing. So they just like he interviews people in America and like talks about like these like American type things that he's confused by.
I just like his personality. Fun. He's entertaining.
Do you guys listen to every one of them?
Everyone.
I don't always catch the experts on Expert.
Yeah.
I like experts on experts when I'm falling asleep, and then I continue them the next day of like wherever I left off.
Sometimes I'll just go to the fact check so that I can keep up with them and not listen to the actual interview.
Because, that's also a thing. At the end of every episode, like 30 minutes to like to an hour is just them talking. So that's like the best part.
Any of that.
That's the best part.
Yeah,
really?
The part.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's like our podcast, like how people just want to hear us talk. That's how Dax and Monica are. Like, I just want to hear them talk about their lives at the end of the episode.
Okay, I'll try it out. I think what I like though, Monica's less annoying to me now because remember I was like kind of annoyed with her.
Oh yeah.
So I think she's like figured out. I don't know. I listened to them like when they first started. Yeah. And I think Dax has gotten a lot better at interviewing people.
Yes.
Definitely.
And like not asking so many leading questions. He still throws his own experiences into the mix a lot, but it's not as annoying as he used to do it.
I feel that.
And
I
also
just started
Monica
making
at first. Oh, that's a really good one.
Yeah.
Monica at first was just like, okay, who is this bitch? Like,
She barely talked.
she's
also.
annoying.
She would just like laugh and she didn't like know what to say, but they have a really good dynamic now. Like, I mean, I'm sure they've had it for a really long time, but
I think for a while she felt like she couldn't talk during like the interviews as much. Like she would only throw in like maybe one or two things, and now she fully like inserts herself where she wants. But I think it's so interesting, like all the comments. So they got the Spotify exclusive deal. Then they just like last week opened back up to all platforms. Yeah. But so many comments were like, oh, I'm glad. Like, I guess I'll start listening again. Like, totally forgot about this podcast. Like, I was like boycotting basically while they were on Spotify. But they always talk about that. And it's so stupid. It was free. Like, they weren't making it a paid for thing. You can get Spotify for free. Weird.
People are just unhappy when people are successful. Like, yeah, the show got like, that's an amazing thing that Spotify, and they're just jealous and like, oh, fuck you. You're making money on this? Well, then I'm not gonna. It's like when influencers start doing ads and they're like, oh, now you're throwing ads in our face? Like,
no, this is how we make a living. Yeah. But Emma Chamberlain also got her, like,
it reopened?
Spotify. Yeah, she's reopened. I think her deal, at least from what I read, was that she just has video on Spotify and audio everywhere else.
Okay, because I'm confused because it did seem shorter than both of their contracts. Like I thought they were 3 years.
I'm interested to see if they like just renegotiated the deal and now they're getting paid less, or what the situation is. But I think Spotify said that they just like overinvested in it, and they don't need
it. Makes sense.
Yeah, they don't need
60 mil
of the deals. But I don't know.
Interesting. I don't think that they'll ever do video.
Who?
No.
Armchair Expert.
Because that's the point. As celebrities, like, you want to be able to be vulnerable and not worry about how you look. Yeah. Being that they have celebrities on their podcast.
Yeah, and I think that helps a lot for the celebrities to be more vulnerable. Hopefully they'll do a show though. Like Smartless.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, Joe brought up Smartless again too, because he likes that one. We used to, because when we would go on road trips, we would like listen to similar podcasts. We like had a couple that were like, okay, we both are on the same page with this.
Yeah.
So we have a couple road trips coming up. So I think that if we can like get on the same page with which podcast, but do you guys still listen to Smartless?
Yeah, I don't listen to like every episode.
Yeah, it depends on who's on. I haven't listened in a while.
I kind of hop around. I saw this girl, she made a video of like her podcast rotation of like what she listens to every day. And I was like, oh my God, I need to make that today. Yeah, I'm going to make it.
I saw that. Oh, Rose Byrne was on the Smartless yesterday.
Ooh.
That'll be good.
Who was?
So funny.
Rose Byrne.
Oh, I love her.
Yeah, that'll probably be really funny.
Favorite.
I never finished Platonic.
I didn't either. And I've tried. I've tried the last 3 episodes. I haven't been able to get into, but my brain has been like buzzing. Like I have not had a moment to like, every day after work, I'm like, how do I decompress? Because I've
watched
on
Platonic.
No, I can't though. I can't like.
What are you doing?
What do you do
to decompress?
Like sit there and scroll on my phone.
Oh,
and then like half watch the episode.
Oh, well, you got to put your phone away.
It doesn't help me decompress. Like being on my phone does not help me decompress at all. It makes me more like active and wound up.
So I just learned this in the Nature versus Nurture podcast because the therapist, she was talking about, her name is Wendy Mogul. I love her. She was talking about how like social media with kids and how much it affects kids' brains and like the algorithm and how it's constantly looking for dopamine hits and like just drawing you back 24/7 to stay on the apps longer. And Dax was saying that he lets his daughters watch a lot of TV. And he was like, yeah, I'm not really good at that. Like they don't have social media. They don't go on our phones, but they watch a lot of movies and TV. And she was like, that's actually way better. Like TV doesn't have an algorithm. Like it allows your brain to just chill way more than social media would. And I was like, oh, that's very interesting. Because usually if I'm on my phone while watching TV, it's like not the same.
Yeah, now we have to practice focusing on a TV show.
Yeah.
Literally.
It's so bad. Did you guys listen to the Kristen Bell one?
Yeah.
Where they are like, go to 2.
Yeah, that's so funny.
That's
Oh,
the
yeah.
funniest, cutest thing. in the
That's
world.
really cute.
I would literally listen to an entire episode of them like reenacting like
I know, they're so cute.
but it's just so funny like how they described it because of course like if you're in the same industry, like I'm sure we probably do that.
Explain it for everyone.
So they have like different radio settings, I guess, like on set. And so the main line is 1 and then like something happens and they like go to 2 to discuss it.
Yeah,
And then
yeah, okay.
they gave like their example was like the guy's fingers looked like they were getting set on fire. And he was like, go to 2, go to 2.
That's so
That's
funny.
so
I
cute.
just died. It was so funny. I wish that they would like share more of that stuff, but
I know, Kristen's so busy.
I don't know. I feel like
They
do
could
talk
have their
a
own
lot.
podcast.
They could have their own.
I thought her perspective kind of like on social media and like being busy and doing the work was very interesting too. And I feel like she's found like a healthy balance with it.
Yeah, I feel like she hasn't. Has she been in like a movie or something recently?
No,
I
but
feel
she
like she's
is
always doing stuff.
Yeah.
World's
She does a lot of
first-
ads and commercials.
Yeah, she has with it him and hers or like the hers ad.
Yeah, and Lazy Boy and
Mm-hmm.
then
She-
their brands.
Mm-hmm.
She is supposed to be, and so Sarah Foster wrote a screenplay, and Kristen Bell is going to star in her TV show. But it's
Who
like
is
in the
that?
very Sarah Foster. They're from like Aaron and Sarah Foster are from like David Foster,
Who's
and
David Foster?
he like produced. I think
I
he's
don't know who any of these
he
people.
a
produced like
name ringing
Celine
a bell,
Dion,
but-
like
Oh.
Whitney.
I feel like he's
Houston?
friends with all the celebrities. Oh no, he was married to Yolanda
Yeah, he was married to a
from
lot
The
of
Real
famous.
Housewives. That's
Yeah.
why it's ringing a bell.
And he's had like a few other, and now he's married to Catherine McPhee. I don't know if you guys remember
Oh,
her. She was like
yeah.
she did acting and singing.
Was she on House Bunny?
Yes.
I don't
think-
know.
House Bunny.
I think that's Catherine McPhee.
Yeah.
That's who
Maybe.
I remember being Catherine McPhee. But
Yeah,
also
me
all
too.
that's coming to mind is that movie Nanny McPhee.
Yeah, yeah. But anyway, so she wrote a TV show, and Kristen Bell's gonna star in that.
That's cool.
Did you guys watch The Woman in the House Across the Street
No.
from the Woman in the Window or whatever?
No.
It's so funny because obviously it's a satire on psychological thrillers. And since I've just been reading so many psychological thrillers with the stupidest fucking titles of the books, like literally Woman in the Window, The Wife
That's so
Upstairs.
true.
And like, as I'm like reading these titles on a TikTok, I'm like, these are all so ridiculous. And that makes the show even funnier because like now I need to rewatch the show after I've literally read 30 thrillers in the past 2 months.
That's
That's
so
a
funny.
lot. You've like
Yeah.
gone on a fucking bender with thrillers.
Yeah, you really have.
Are those the fastest books you've ever read? Like, or the fastest you've ever read a book?
Yeah.
Like, they make you want to like finish it in a day.
They're addicting the way that
Yeah.
they're written.
Because it's like you want to know the twist.
Yeah,
or
and
what
they just like
happens.
they know your psychology too to like
Mhm.
Yeah.
put little things that make you like think something's happening and need to keep reading. Like it's a
I feel
I
like
think
that'd be
that's
the
like-
hardest genre to write.
Yeah.
Like, because you'd
Yeah.
have to think of everything ahead of time and then like
Yeah.
leave clues as you're writing.
Yeah, you would.
yeah.
It'd
Or
be
like you
hard.
leave clues that the reader thinks is a clue, but it's
Yeah.
actually kind of taking you in the wrong direction
Yeah.
or something.
This is why I want like Taylor Swift to write a book. Like she would kill it. It would be so
So-
good.
But that's also where I think it's so fascinating that, especially with social media being like such a really quick, like 15 seconds, and you have 3
Yeah.
seconds to hook somebody in.
Mm-hmm.
Writing a whole fucking book for like 300 plus pages that constantly has like new hooks and developments that like you are hooked the entire book. That's crazy to me, like to think about
Yeah.
that.
That is.
It's crazy how much detail books have too, because like when
Yeah.
they take a book and make it into a TV show or something, for example, like even when it's like an 8-episode TV show, the book still has so much more,
Yeah.
which it seems crazy because it's like that's 8 hours of a TV show, but when you're reading it
Mhm.
in its words, like that, you just like gives you so much more information at one time,
That
Yeah.
is so crazy.
which is weird. But yeah, Taylor Swift should do some kind of like long story thing, because I think
feel like she will.
I've been
Like a
thinking
book
about this.
her, or
No, like a fictional story, because her songs are so good because they're like very dramatic and they're like stories, but they're not just like stories about heartbreak and sex. Like they're like big, like she takes inspiration from movies and characters and things like that. And so that's why people, I think, love her music so much, because they're like stories. And so I don't know.
That's why I think like the biggest reason people don't get into Taylor Swift and like obsess is because they're more listening to the music rather than like hearing the lyrics. I also don't know if that's like a type of brain thing or a boy versus girl thing, because definitely Cameron never listens to lyrics of any songs. Like he only likes like the beats. But like I think any in-depth Taylor Swift fan, it's because of her lyrics and like how deeply you can relate to them and like feel understood.
I will say, like, every time I get obsessed with Taylor Swift, it's because like I am relating her music to some kind of hyperfixation that I have. So like when I was obsessed with Twilight, I would listen to Speak Now, and like every single song would like go with the movies.
Like instead of your own love life, you're like thinking about Virgin Bella.
Well, because that's what I'm saying is like our own love lives are only so interesting.
Yeah. Exactly.
And like you can relate to some things, but like they're so much more grand and dramatic and like bittersweet. And like my cat is meowing at the door. And like now I am on freaking Stan Twitter, and so I see people making Daisy Jones and the Six edits to Taylor Swift songs, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so them. And so then I'm like, I get addicted to that song because it's like it's a big story in my head. It's not just like a song.
Yeah, I was listening to the Folklore Long Pond sessions on Disney Plus since you've been obsessed with folklore. I was like, I need to rewatch this.
What is that?
Oh my god, you need to watch it on Disney Plus. It's
Okay.
like she came out with it after Folklore came out, and she basically just like plays every single song in the house that they recorded it, and then before each song they like talk about it with
that's
people
cool.
that she wrote it with.
I'm gonna put that on.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah, it's good to just like have in the background or whatever.
I think I was listening to a couple of songs came on, like just older Taylor Swift, and those were just like my jams. I was like, I need to listen to the new stuff more, but the old songs are just like so freaking good, and they'll get me in like a good mood every single time.
But it's because you listen to them at that stage. Like that's what brings you back to that time of your life.
It really does. Like I think there's like whatever album came out when I was like in freshman, we literally just drove around campus blasting the music,
belting the songs.
Like it was the most fun because my friend like also was a huge Taylor Swift fan, so like I was excited for the album to come out, but she was like, we have got to like go in the car and turn this on and like just jam out. So we just drove around like campus and then like drove around the town and everything. It was the best.
That is so cute. Today we are doing a listener Q&A, and I'm so excited because you guys sent like the best questions and long advice questions, which are our favorite.
We're training you well.
I know, they're starting to get the hint. Do we want to start with a longer one or like quick ones? Like how should I just go?
Start. Let's do alternating.
Okay. Since we're talking about shows, somebody said, I have COVID right now. Do you have any show recommendations?
Oh, this is probably going to come out after you're healed.
After you're better.
I really like that Painkiller show.
Oh,
my friend just started watching.
I was kind of sad though watching it because there's like so much.
It's like about the opioid crisis or something.
Yeah.
Right?
Is it different than Dope Sick, or is it like the same story?
Oh,
I don't know. Dope Sick.
It's about how the opioid crisis started.
Why did we both do that? We both said crisis.
Your like lips were already formed from the opioid. I don't know. I don't think I've heard of Dope Sick. But this one is like more about the Purdue family and their like how they kind of started this and how like they even came up with OxyContin.
That's
and
crazy.
Then like they also highlight the sales side of it, which it kind of triggered me a little bit. And
Cameron's dad worked for Purdue.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
so he has a lot of like, yeah, those same feelings.
Yeah. And then they follow the lawyer who was like uncovering the story and like, or not lawyer, I think she was like a district attorney or something that was like uncovering it and finding proof, because it was harder to like navigate for them because it's legal to prescribe opioids and Oxycontin. So she had to find the smoking gun of like everything else that happened. And then it followed like a couple different addicts throughout the show too. So it's very multifaceted and layered.
That sounds
It's very
good.
interesting. That was good. It was only like 8 episodes, I think.
If you want something a little more lighthearted,
Yeah, that's
Heartstopper on Netflix has
Oh,
been my
I want
favorite
to
thing I've
watch
watched.
that.
is it a movie or a TV show?
TV show. It's 2 seasons. The second season just came out, and they're both like 8 episodes, and they're like 30 minutes long. So it's really quick, but it's like the
Isn't it, like,
cutest. Yeah, 2 boys fall in love. One of them doesn't know that he's gay, and they're in high school.
That's
He's
really
bisexual,
cute.
actually, and he says that a lot.
That's
But
cute.
it's really cute. It's like so comforting and cute.
Love that. I feel like I have not really been watching a lot of TV. I watched all of season 2 of Summer I Turned Pretty this weekend.
I did not finish that one either. I saw your story on it though.
Yeah, I feel just underwhelmed, I guess.
Yeah.
But it was cute. Like, it was fun to take a day and watch them all. It's a cute
Yeah.
show.
I knew the second season wasn't going to be as good because there's just something so special about the first season. How it's like, you know, nothing's going wrong. It's comforting. It's very summery. They're staying in this beach house the whole time. And like, it's perfect. And then season 2, it's so different. It doesn't have the same feeling as the first season.
I think
in the third season won't either.
But no, I think this season 3 has like, I liked season 3's book, whatever the last book was, because it kind of like wraps it all up. It's nice.
I think 3 will be good too.
Yeah.
But I wonder how they'll do it of like,
yeah.
I feel like it won't wrap up. Like, I feel like all that ending probably won't be till the last episode of the 3rd season.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
Another show that I love, it's like airing right now, but there's a season before, is Winning Time. It's like the LA Lakers show. About like Magic Johnson and the beginning of it. And there's new episodes, which is fun.
What is that on?
HBO.
Okay. Yeah.
I keep, every time I type it in, I'm like, it's HBO.
I know, me too.
I can't switch over. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I watched that's good lately.
I feel like I have.
I want to get back into
finish Vanderpump.
Yeah, I've been reading more.
So good.
What is it about?
It's about a guy who like weasels his way into a law firm without a degree, and then
it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Is each episode like a new case or something?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
That's what I heard. Kind of like, it's kind of like Law and Order, of like each episode's like a different
situation. But there's a underlying storyline throughout the entire like seasons of like the characters' relationships, and like they're standing at the firm, like, are they partner, like, where are they at? So
is it weird with Meghan Markle in it? Like, I feel like that would be weird for me to just see her acting.
I don't know. I haven't like rewatched it. I'm going to rewatch it. But
yeah, I'm interested.
Yeah. I think that people have liked seeing her.
Okay. Next question. One thing I struggle with in my mid-20s is not having any super close friendships where I live. I love your podcast because I feel like I relate so well to y'all and feel like I'm hanging with my girlfriends. How have y'all navigated friendships at this stage of life and or become comfortable being alone?
For me, it's been hard because I feel like a lot of people know me now as someone who like doesn't have a lot of friends, but my whole life I've always had a lot of friends. I've always had like a friend group or two. I mean, I was in gymnastics and dance, and I always had a big group of girlfriends. And then like slowly as we grew up and grew apart, I don't have a group of friends at all anymore. Like, I have individual friends here and there. And I really miss having like that group that you get together with every weekend, or, you know, like that group that's like, hey, what are we doing this weekend? But it's hard as you're getting older because everybody has their own lives and they're busy. And it was partly my fault too, because I was like, well, I worked all week for 40 hours. I just want to sit at home all weekend and not do anything now. And so currently I'm still trying to come into terms with like being okay with how my life is now. But also it's important to like, you have to put an effort into maintaining friendships or making friends. And I mean, that's also hard, but yeah, it's just something you have to do.
Yeah, I feel like it helps to know that most people struggle with this at this stage of life. Like, it's not something that you're alone in at all. So it is easier to kind of approach or try to make friends when you know that other people are in the same boat as you. And like, I don't know of a lot of people who have friend groups where they're just hanging out all the time.
Like social media and movies and TV shows and books like kind of lead you to believe that that's normal and everybody has a group of friends. Like, I mean, you watch the show Friends and they're always together. Yeah. Or like How I Met Your Mother is another example, like shows where their friends are like their chosen family and they're always with their friends, but like that's not actually realistic.
Yeah. I think also it's good to see like the context of some of the friendships you might see. Like, I know a lot of people that are like with their friend group a lot. It's because they all moved to the same city and they like haven't moved away after college.
Yeah.
So, or like they never left the city that they were in college in. So like there's just a lot of people around and you're just kind of like your friend group is built in. And then of course it's easier to kind of like branch off in that friend group. And that's how I felt kind of like going to Chicago after school. A lot of people went to Chicago after school. So it was really easy to like make friends or like meet friends of friends. And now I'm kind of in that same boat of like, okay, it just takes a lot more effort to build the friendships and maintain the friendships. And I think being willing to put in more of that effort for the first like 3 to 4 months makes a big difference. And then you can kind of have those like more sporadic, like, okay, this weekend I want to stay in, and you can like feel okay about that, like you're not missing out. But knowing that like for the first few months it is important to like show up and reach out and try and connect as much as you can.
Yeah, I think that was my issue with moving, is I very much closed myself off too, because I think I feel so lucky to have so many good friends that aren't in where I live. So it's like, I have you guys, I have all my friends that live in Arizona, and I have such deep friendships with everyone that I don't feel like I lack like people to vent to or to go talk about something or whatever, like those friendship things. But then I lack in-person friends of like, oh, I just want to go hang out and have a drink or do whatever activity or something. And I think like for literal years, this whole time I closed myself off to it because like I remember the first time we moved, or like when we moved and we went out for the first time with Cameron's coworkers and like a big group of people and all went to the bar. And like I literally cried in the bar because I was just like, this is not the same. Like I always would tell myself like, this is not the same. I can't have the same type of friendships with these people. So like, why should I even try or put in the effort?
Yeah.
And now I'm kind of feeling more like when I do let myself, that I'm like, oh, I actually do love these people. And like, I could see myself being closer with them. I just need to like give into that and like try to balance maintaining the other friendships as well. Cause that is hard when you're like, you want to do activities with certain people, but then like keeping up with FaceTime and text for long distance friends at the same time is like a lot.
That is a lot to balance. I also feel like I closed myself off at first when I got here. I was like, no, I am working and like skiing and trying to save money, all these things. And I'm like, but why? There's like, there is a possible balance for it all.
It's hard to open yourself back up once you've closed it off too. That's what I think we're all currently trying to do.
For sure. Well, it's kind of like the atomic habits and stuff of like when you're telling yourself that you're a certain way and like you're like, I'm too scared to hang out with these people, or I'm not going to hang out with these people, and then you just like repeat it to yourself over and over, when instead you could be convincing yourself like that you'd have fun with them and could become close friends with them. But I don't know, you really have to put yourself out there and do online things, message people on Instagram. I think Instagram is a great way to make friends and find friends in your area.
And I think just doing something that like you think you both would like going to get coffee, going on a walk, going to get a drink, or it could be whatever you could like have a mutual interest in. And start that way. And there's also like so many different types of groups too, like depending on your city, like you can kind of look up different things online where it's easier to put yourself out there if it's like pre-organized versus like you having to organize it yourself. Like I know everyone's a little bit different with that, so
I think that is a struggle of like lacking hobbies as well. Is like I feel like, oh, I could join a biking group or a hiking group or like all these things, but I'm like, I don't want to do any of that. Like I don't fit in any of those categories. Like, is there a rooftop bar group?
I know that's the hard thing about adult friendships, because I mean, when you're a kid going to school, you have that in common, or like being involved in sports, you all have that in common, and that builds such a big bond. Like as an adult, like you go to work and you don't want to be friends with your coworkers usually, sometimes, but like then when you are friends with your coworkers, you literally just talk shit about work all the time when you hang out, like,
and then it's just like work 24/7. The other thing with like those more niche groups, like a hiking group, is I guarantee you'll probably find somebody that's like more of like I'm a 2-mile girly, and like we're gonna go get like drinks after, or like we're gonna go get coffee or brunch. So that's like
very true.
While there's probably a lot of people that might not be on your same level, there's probably gonna be like somebody that's similar to you.
I've honestly never thought of that. Like I always imagine them being like backpacking 20 plus miles.
That's what I thought too. And I'm like, there are people out there. Now that I've met more people, I'm like, okay, I can find the girls that like to take a picture on a hike, or like, you know, they need the content. Like, they exist. And not everyone wants to do like 20 miles because it's too much for me.
Yeah.
Okay, ready for the next one?
Yes.
Okay. My current boyfriend is my first boyfriend. We've been dating for 6 years, and the only thing that stops me from wanting to move to the next step is the fact that I've never dated anyone else before. It's not that it feels like something is missing, it's more that other people kind of think it's weird.
Okay, fuck other people.
Yeah.
Is the first thing. If you love your, wait, she said boyfriend, right?
I think so. Let me check. Yes.
If you love your boyfriend, that's all that matters.
I will say I was very judgmental when my sister like was with her boyfriend and they were gonna get engaged, and it was really like her more or less like first boyfriend. I was like, are you sure you don't want to just date a little bit longer? Like I was even saying like just date longer, but like they've obviously been together for 6 years. My sister and her husband were like together for a year, maybe less, before they got engaged. Shit. Like right out of college. And so I was more apprehensive, like, are you sure you, but mine was truly more like, are you sure it's like the right thing? You want to like date a little bit longer? But they are like the perfect couple together. So then I kind of put my foot in my mouth and I was like, actually, I was wrong. You knew your shit. So I think it's just like other people's experiences probably like coming in to play, because like I was with like a few different people for like years on end, and it didn't work out. So that was like always my thing of like, oh, how do you know it's gonna like be the right person?
And you feel like you learn from those experiences and like bring them into the next relationships and whatnot. My sister was the same. I also felt like not judgmental kind of, but just like, are you sure that that's something that you want to do, or that you're 100% sure that you want to be with him forever? But yeah, I think you need to not care about other people's opinions and more focus on how you feel. And I think it's very common feeling, even if you've had boyfriends before or it's your first one, when you're going to make that next step of marriage, to be like, oh, holy shit, is like, I'm never going to kiss anyone else again. Is that something I'm okay with? And that can seem like a scary thought at first. But then like, if you really inspect that in your feelings and you're like, wait, I don't want to kiss anybody else. Like, I only want to kiss this person. So that's not an issue for me that I can't kiss anyone else. Then it like makes you feel better. I don't know. But I'm
that thought
Cameron's
cross your mind?
Oh yeah, all the time.
I'm like, I don't want to kiss any other boys anymore.
Yeah, no, I don't either. Unless it was Harry Styles, obviously. But I don't either. And we talk about like how shitty it would be to start dating again and like being out in the dating world and how much we don't want to have to do that. But he's never had a girlfriend before like me at all.
So crazy.
Yeah, so it's kind of the same situation, but flow. But yeah, overall, I think you just don't care what people think and just rely on your
know
own
that they're probably
feelings.
Their judgments are probably like outward projections.
Yes.
Yeah.
from their own
And you're
childhood.
very lucky to find your person earlier, and yeah, might as well stick with it.
Yeah.
Okay, this one's a long one. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hoping this week has been kind, everyone. Sorry this is kind of long, but I think it's very much worth it. My best friend from college didn't come to my mother's funeral. It is something I've been trying to get over, but can't seem to forget. We had an epic friendship, the kind where we just immediately spoke the same language and liked similar things and could laugh till we cried. I haven't had a friendship like that in a long time. However, during the summer, my mother was actively passing. We didn't chat as much. Not sure if she didn't know what to say or if I was subconsciously kind of isolating myself / being less inclined to reach out. We spoke here and there, and it was kind of always so nice to catch up. Either way, I knew we had been kind of distant that summer, but I just thought she would be there for me that day. All the details for the service were public and shared some weeks in advance, and she also received the information. People I didn't even tell directly, it was too hard to keep telling people, came to the service. Some people I hadn't seen in years came as well, but she never came. She sent a text that morning sharing her support, and I know not everyone can make it due to things coming up or scheduling, but those who couldn't make it stopped by when they had a work trip that went through my hometown, or they texted / called as much as they could, even if it was just a heart, even if I didn't always respond or wasn't up for a chat. But she never visited, never reached out for anything other than to catch up and chat. And I didn't have a lot to catch up on. I was grieving so hard. So when my best friend and I finally met up in person about a year or so later, she told me that it was because a family pet of hers had died earlier that same summer, and she hadn't known what to say / do as a friend to my situation. Now, I know pet losses are no joke because I'm secretly praying my dog is the first dog to ever Benjamin Button so that I never have to live without her. Still, if my best friend, like I'm talking, we would quote movies and give each other personalized gifts and room together our last 2 years of college type of best friend, lost one of their parents, I feel like going to the funeral service is not too much of an ask. Recently, I felt guilty for not being able to get over this feeling of hurt and not being able to truly forgive. I thought I was okay with meeting up with her and kind of sharing where we were feeling during that time, but every time we talked or texted afterward, I would just feel so sad and remember how alone I felt during that time and how I wish she would have been through that time with me. I started responding less and less every time she reached out until I just stopped altogether. And after a while, she just stopped reaching out. So my question is, should I continue trying to forgive and reach out, or do I just accept that sometimes friendships end? Was I a bit selfish in this situation? Sorry it's so long. Also, I know it's kind of intense, lol. Thanks.
Oh my gosh.
That's really hard.
The pet thing? Like,
right?
when your mom just died? And
Yeah.
like, sorry, my dog died.
The same summer.
Yeah.
Like not even the same week or something.
I think that friend like probably had no freaking clue like what to do and like how to show up and how to support. But like instead of saying, "Hey, my pet died," like owning up to like, "Hey, I didn't know what the fuck to do. Like I'm sorry like if I wasn't as supportive as I should have been." Like I don't know.
Some
That's
people
what I was
can't
gonna
be
say.
honest though.
Yeah.
And like her friend was probably scared and avoidant and didn't want to. I mean, luckily she
And it
didn't
gets
really have
like
to deal with that because it's not her parent.
yeah. But it gets worse and worse like the more like I don't know if you guys have had those situations where like you know you should say something and then you like, okay, I'll say it tomorrow. I'll say it tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then it's like a month from the time that you should have said something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're just like what do I do from where do I go from here? But still, I think like if like the girl approached her friend, like that's kind of the opportunity to be like, I fucked up. I'm really sorry. Like I should have acted differently in this situation. And I did.
Yeah, when it's your best friend like that, like I'm imagining like Laurel and Susanna type friendship, you know,
same.
like
yeah.
And then that happens. I mean, usually when that happens to a best friend, you're like there for them the whole time, like making them dinner and like
yeah.
But also maybe the person who wrote this in, like that is what she expects from a best friend.
That's like
and
I think
the other person can't uphold that, you know, they're just not that person.
Yeah. That is, I think, really hard when you like have some expectations, but like I have never been through that type of grief, so I have no idea. Like, and I know everyone's grief is so different. And I'm sure in that moment she probably felt so like consumed by her grief that like she couldn't figure out how to ask for those things. I think I honestly, maybe we should do like an episode on this, like how to support like friends through those difficult times, because I've definitely struggled through that, where I'm like, how much do I reach out? How much do I like, you know, like what do I say to reach out continuously? How do I like support you? And I know some of those things are like easy just by like asking, but again, not everyone like feels comfortable like saying, "Hey, I just need you to sit here with me." And like not do anything.
Yeah, I think that's like a lot like when my stepmom lost her daughter, that I think she just wanted people to be with her and talk about her daughter with her and just like come over to the house and spend time with her, you know?
Yeah.
Before I lost my brother-in-law, I was like very much this way of the friend. Like I could see myself doing this, honestly, because I was so just had no idea about death or what to do or what way to act. I definitely didn't go to funerals of like ex-boyfriend's parents or friends, family members when I wasn't like directly invited, but it was a public thing. And I just thought like, would they want me to go? Is that something that I even should do? Or is that like they didn't personally invite me, so then maybe they didn't want me there, things like that. But then going through it, like, and watching my brother and stuff, it's just you learn that they can't ask for those things kind of that they're needing. And at the end of the day, it's better to just to do whatever you're thinking of. And like, if it, like I would question that all the time, or I still do. Like, if I'm thinking about him, like, should I text my brother, or like, would that make it worse? Like, throughout these years, I'd be like, oh, should I like remind him of this right now, or is he having a hard day where it would make it worse, or should I do this thing, or would that make it worse? And I think I've learned overall it's better to just do it, because they'll probably appreciate it more, and if like it probably won't ruin things at all. So I think I don't know, I think that your friend is probably more like that, and that the dog thing was an excuse, like you're saying. Like I feel like she should have just owned up to like, I handled this very shitty and I'm sorry that I handled it this way and I didn't know what to say. So I guess I would wonder if you talked to your friend fully about your feelings, and when you met up, if you fully explained how much this hurt you, because it makes sense that it would hurt you a lot. I would be very hurt if one of my parents passed away and my best friends didn't do those things for me. So like I fully understand that, but maybe it is a communication thing where you guys can just like fully talk about it more, because it's sad to me of like, if you are still best friends and you're not like growing apart and it was maybe just a mistake.
I think that another thing too is like, can you forgive her if she doesn't fully give you like the type of closure you're needing on the situation? And if you can't, it's probably not worth it to like go down that road in case that person doesn't come back with like a, hey, I messed up type of situation. But if you can forgive her no matter what she does, then I think it like is a good idea to open up that door, because it would suck to really lose that friendship.
I think so many relationships, friendships, and like relationships are fractured by expectations not being met, but also expectations not being voiced. So, but like I know my sister used to struggle all the time because her friends weren't being a good enough friend that she was to them, and she expected so much more of them. And I always had to tell her like, you need to lower, like, they're your friend for these circumstances, they're great in these circumstances, but that person is never going to be this to you. And so like setting those expectations and not expecting people who just aren't going to be what you expect them to be. And taking it for what it is.
I also think too, like, depending on if, you know, you're in college and you've graduated college now, I think a lot of people grow and change. And so like you can always see how things are at this stage in life, and you might be surprised, like they might have learned a lot. Like I'm a very different person than I was when I first graduated college. And I think like some people might be surprised at like what I'm like now versus right out of school. And so she might surprise you of like, what she's learned about herself and how she is now.
Yeah, like I would check with her because maybe this is eating her up just as much. Like maybe she always thinks about how she should have acted differently and regrets it a lot. Or maybe she doesn't care and she won't apologize and it was about her dog. So I think it's more the conversation to try to figure out. I saw this girl posting like if you have childhood friends now, like in an adult phase, that you have to learn to forgive people. Like nobody has childhood friends that they've never fought with or like gone through hard things through, especially because in college and high school, like everything feels so big because it's all that's your whole world at the time. So I've had big blowouts with all of my best friends, but the overall friendship is more important to me. So then like you work past those things.
I agree.
Okay. This girl sent 3 different questions, so I'm just going to read the first one first, and then maybe we'll answer your other questions at a different episode. Okay. She said, I've never known anyone who is introverted and anxious like I am, so my advice has gone untouched until now. How do you overcome having champagne problems? Taylor Swift fear. I'm at a stage in my life of working, but also being in college, and I just don't have the time or want to be in a relationship. But I'm scared that in the future, because I have 0 relationship experience, that I will get in a relationship and feel like it's perfect because I don't know what it should feel like. But then I'll start to hesitate when it gets good and have a moment where he makes a big commitment suggestion, and I will question whether this person is who I'm actually supposed to be with. I don't know if that made any sense, but I just always find myself resonating with the lyrics. Sometimes you just don't know the answer until someone's on their knees and asks you. Because what if it feels right and then you second guess it last minute? I know Maggie talked a little bit about this in a more recent episode, but I was wondering if you guys could dive deeper into it. That is hard.
That is very hard.
I really
She's 19 also.
Oh, so young.
I'm
Honestly,
like reflecting back
about it.
Yeah, I think at that age, I was so fucking concerned about me being or like the right person and like will they like me versus the relationship with myself. And I wish I would have spent more time in college and post college just working on the relationship with myself, loving who I actually am and like how I'm showing up in the world and who I am as a friend to people and how I'm like talking and caring for myself more than trying to date other people or like find the right person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, like as an anxious person, I know that it's so hard not to live like 10 years into the future.
Literally. Future
But like
so bad.
You're 19, take it day by day. If you meet someone and you know, I have the faith that like you just know.
Yeah.
When you just know in your gut, if you trust your gut. But also maybe you'll date 3 more people before you end up settling down, like.
Yeah.
That's
Or you
unfortunately
could meet like 10 people. Like you're 19. Like there's
Yeah.
so many people that I met like between 19 and 26.
Mm-hmm.
Like so many different people
Mm-hmm.
through that time.
And this is kind of like the same question of the girl settling down with her first boyfriend that she's been dating for a long time. Like this girl's wondering if she does date someone and it feels good, then like is that bad to just settle down or will she start questioning things?
I think that's lucky.
Yeah, and I think what
especially
you're saying
if you're
about
anxious and introverted.
Yeah.
That's like
I feel luck.
the perfect. So like
like you'd want that. But how you just said like when you know, that kind of thought has always plagued me, I think, because of anxiety. Like so I'd be very confused dating everyone of like how do I know? When do I know? Blah blah blah. Like because I've thought I was gonna marry every boyfriend that I've ever had. Like I didn't ever think that I wouldn't or thought it was bad. So yeah, I think you need to like inspect those feelings, kind of the same as the first girl,
but
and then
also,
really imagine.
I'm sure we're going to talk about this in the next episode, but like if you would have married a different person, I think your life still would have turned out great, Like, I mean, if you loved a different person to the extent of marriage and you didn't meet Cameron, like that's okay too. It's not like you have to find the one person in a needle in a haystack and like that's the only person you're going to be happy with for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's why I think that book, the Taylor Jenkins Reid book, was it Maybe in Another Life?
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? Yeah, like at the end, it's like no matter what, if you could play out all these different scenarios of your life, but at the end of the day, whatever scenario that life takes you, you will think is the best and you're most happiest. Like if I would have, in a different scenario, married my high school boyfriend, I wouldn't have even known Cameron, and I would have thought that that was the best situation.
Yeah.
So,
I also think the more you get to know yourself too, the more you can like trust your gut. Because if you like, when someone was telling me that, I was like, I don't really understand what that means. But like, the more like I've spent time with myself and journaling and all of that, now I like have these gut feelings and I'm like, okay, yes, this is the right decision, or like, no, this doesn't feel good. And you'll be able to like actually feel
I don't have that. Like
Really?
that's what I like I don't know. Like cuz my gut feelings
Your
a lot of
anxiety,
the
like,
time are anxiety. Yeah, so I like never know if it's actually a true gut feeling telling me not to do something or just my anxiety. Like it's very hard for me to distinguish
I
that.
think you would know if you were, because like I've been in relationships where it just did not feel right. Like it was just in my gut. I just knew I couldn't. Like, so I feel like you would know if it wasn't right.
But because everyone says that, I've always thought that my whole life. Like in every relationship or scenario, I always would think, like, but is this a gut feeling telling me it's not right?
Yeah, that's kind of hard.
Yeah, overall, try to live in the present as much as possible, and you don't need to think about all these future things and what boyfriends you may have one day.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi. Oh my gosh, I love you guys so much. I noticed that in some of the episodes, Maggie and Brittany mention having ADHD. Apparently not Dev.
I've never been diagnosed. I also have hypochondria, so
true. I guess we don't know for sure.
Maybe it's just yeah.
Okay, she says, I was wondering if you guys have any tips on how to handle ADHD. My parents unfortunately ignored my diagnosis at 15 because of the stigma attached to having ADHD. And now that I'm 25, I got myself reevaluated as an adult and I'm on the proper medication. I love knowing that I have ADHD because so many things just make sense now, but I do struggle with time management and I have a combined type ADHD. I struggle with an abundance of things that I could go on and on and on about, but I know you all aren't doctors. But if there's a good apps or time management methods or organizational tips that you guys may have, please share. I'd love to hear.
For me, especially like in an overwhelmed state of like I have a million things to do, I have to get everything out on paper and like write down a list of all the things I have to do. And then I only allow myself to concentrate on like 3 things. And then I only allow myself to concentrate on one thing at a time. And trying to be like really disciplined with not bouncing between tasks, which is really hard for me. But not bouncing between tasks makes my life so much easier. But I think especially like in an overwhelmed state, like I have to let the overwhelm out, get it out of my brain, like untangle it, and then make little goals to achieve.
Yeah, I love that. One thing, I'm not on proper medication. So I think that if I was on I'm on Wellbutrin, which they say helps with depression and anxiety and then also can help with attention. I don't feel necessarily like it really helps the same way that like Adderall or something does at all.
Because it's not a stimulant. It's just like a dopamine inhibitor or something.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what it even does. But so it's good that you're getting properly medicated and that you saw the doctor and everything, because I think just genuinely doing that will help so much. For me though, it's definitely like limiting distractions and then trying, like you're saying, to like space things out. Like I do the big brain dump and I have to get everything. And then I separate that, like you're saying, into 3 main tasks and then do one at a time. But then even when you're doing one task at a time, to like not task hop. One, I try to stay in one place, because if I'm walking around the house, there's going to be a million things that I'm doing. Like you grab clothes and then you take the clothes and then you're like, wait, but I was doing this. I got to wipe the counters and then I got to get this. Like it's just so much. So I have to stay like at my desk when I'm trying to focus on something. And then like my phone is a huge distraction. So putting that on do not disturb or putting it out of the room or whatever. and timers is really helpful of like being like, I'm concentrating on this task for this 30 minutes and then I can pay attention to something else.
The other
You
thing
taught
too
me
with
the timer thing.
the distractions is like trying, I know a lot of like people's work is like with email, but like turning off your notifications on your computer too. So like you're not
closing
getting
out the other
text.
tabs.
Yeah, not getting inbound text. And like if you don't have to be in your inbox, like deleting the tab with your inbox in it so that you are like hyper focused in one thing, because that's what always throws me off is like, oh, an email just came in, or like, oh, text came in, I have to respond to it. And then it throws me off my concentration.
But my brain will throw me off because I'll be like, I'm writing a script. And then I'll be like, oh my God, I wanted to look at that one thing on Free People. And then I'll be like, oh, do they have that on Amazon? And then I'll be like, oh, I didn't pay my water bill. And it's just like.
Literally.
Exactly.
You mentioned
and then like, oh, I need to text Maggie and Jen in this thing. And then like, oh, I have to respond to this thing really quickly.
Yeah. I forgot to reply to my friend from 3 days ago, and now I'm randomly remembering because I don't want to do this work.
And if I don't text him back now, I will literally forget for another 3 days.
Yeah. I have to put reply to text on my to-do list a lot of the times, and then I'll go through and like reply to everyone. Devin, I think a few episodes ago you said something about having the perfect amount of stimulation on, and I think that's also a good tip. Like I need depending on what I'm doing, I need like certain music or a podcast, or like if I'm in a really like flow state, I could have silence, but it really never works.
My flow state, there's definitely times where like Joe's like, what? Why aren't you listening to anything? Like, why are you just like in this mood? I'm like, because I don't know.
Yeah, like
but I think the other thing is like if you have roommates or a partner, really trying to make them aware of like your concentration. Like I come off as a bitch sometimes because I'm like trying to finish like a message or an email, and Joe talking at me, he's not trying to be mean at all or like
shut the fuck up.
I'm just like, but I'm like, no, yes, just like whatever, or like I'm completely ignoring him. And it comes off so mean, but I'm like, this is my like concentration time, like I cannot be bothered, like do not talk to me.
There are TikTok accounts that are like how to behave when your partner has ADHD.
Yeah,
like
I did follow
if your partner has ADHD.
I've sent a few of them to him because I was like, this makes me feel so seen. And this is like because her boyfriend like helps her, and I'm like, oh, he's reminding us to eat.
Yes,
it's a huge thing.
The good thing and bad thing is Cameron's ADHD is worse than mine, so we're just like, we interrupt each other 24/7. Like we literally cannot not interrupt each other. We get so excited and like have to interrupt each other. It's really bad. We like hop between so many tasks. I ignore him. He ignores me. It's like,
it reminds me of when you're playing Sims and like you keep trying to make your sim like go to the bathroom, but they keep wanting to walk into the kitchen, and you keep like clicking like go to the toilet, and they just walk to the toilet and they stand there, and then they turn around and walk back to the kitchen. You're like, God damn it, no.
That is really funny.
I also saw this TikTok of this guy. He was talking about kind of like when you're in a hole on your phone, or like when you feel like you're going back and forth and doing so many things and you can't get out of it. Like, do you ever feel like you can't even get up in the moment sometimes?
Yes,
you're just,
that was
like,
going to be my thing.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like sometimes so dehydrated at the end of the day, because I'm like sitting in one spot and I like didn't fill up my water or even like think to drink the water that I have.
Yeah. But so he was saying like pick just one thing and like make yourself do it. Like even if it's standing up for 30 seconds and then laying back down in bed, like just getting the momentum started is great. So like even if it's like I'm going to put away laundry right now and then I'll go back to doing whatever, like just doing something helps the ball start rolling.
The other thing too is like if any of these things we're talking about don't really work for you, I think testing something out for like a week at a time or like 2 weeks at a time, because there's so many different ways to like cope with ADD and like different things to try. So looking up different things too and testing them out and giving them a chance.
Something that helps me focus on work when I can't focus on like writing something or designing something or whatever is putting on like an ASMR YouTube video and just listening to it. Like I'm not watching it, but just like like some reason that noise just like stimulates my brain and makes me be able to just like focus. When I cannot focus, that's what I do, and it helps a lot.
Do those focus gummies that you try to help at all?
They do, yeah. I feel like they give me like a short burst of focus
Do you think
for
it's
like maybe 30
placebo?
minutes. Like it helps me, I don't know,
Which ones were
I
they?
never know either.
the Let Me Focus.
Oh yeah. There's I have to like find this new thing. It's like a microdose thing though.
Mm-hmm.
That apparently works really well for ADD, but
Of mushrooms?
I think so.
Because that's also for anxiety. Like people are microdosing mushrooms, and it apparently is extremely helpful for all of that.
Yeah. I can't remember what brand it is. I'll have to look it up again. But
Yeah, that's so crazy to me. Like that it's legal, or like I don't fully understand that.
Yeah, I would
people
love
get
to
it
do
shipped
that.
to them.
I don't think, yeah, you can just buy that
But
stuff.
people do get it
my
shipped to
friend
them.
bought them online. Like this is a different like situation, but he like just bought them online and they got shipped to like his place. And I was like, I didn't know you could do that. I
I
didn't know
think
that
it's
was a
something
thing.
about like the quantity, because like my sister gets these edibles that are like low THC but higher CBD, and like she just buys them online. It's like Delta 8 or Delta 9 or something
Oh,
like
someone
that.
told me that
To do that.
helped their focus so much. That's
Oh, for
I'm
focusing.
curious.
Well,
Or
you can test it
something.
out this
Maybe
week.
it was depression or anxiety. I don't know.
I will
What?
say weed does help me focus
You can test it out
occasionally.
this week. We can go to a dispensary. That could be like one of our
Oh,
little
yeah.
I'm so jealous. Devin's going to Colorado. Again.
Yep.
So sad. Okay, ready? We should probably just do a few more.
Yeah.
But there's so many more. If we don't get to your question this time, we will save it for the next times. And you can go to our Google form on the link is in our bio or in our Facebook group, and you can leave your questions or advice anytime. And then we'll just revisit it the next time we do a Q&A. Okay. I don't know if this is just something I go through, but I feel like I have the opposite of winter depression. I feel like I'm more productive. I know this is why I picked this one. I'm more productive and enjoy life more during the fall and winter seasons, but when summer and warmer weather rolls around, I lose all of that. I started to realize that more recently. During fall semester last year, I was loving school, but spring semester came around and I was still doing pretty good. During winter, but once the weather got warmer and warmer, I started to get burnt out and lacked motivation for anything. Now it's summertime and I just feel like I don't do anything. I have days where I feel like I could just sleep for the rest of my life. Is it just me, or is this a common thing?
I've been seeing more and more about this, actually.
Same.
I think, I mean, seasonal depression doesn't have to just be in the winter. And I don't know where you live.
I think it has a lot to do where you live. Yeah.
Yeah. Because, like, for me, I mean, like, fall, there's so much serotonin in that. Like, just like the smells and the pumpkins and the TV shows, and the weather is perfect for going outside, and like, and you're excited about the holidays and you have things planned. And then I think a lot of people love summer because they have a lot of things planned and they like, it's the time to travel and go to the beach and blah, blah, blah. But like for me, I don't have anything. Like, I don't know. I just hate the summer. It's so hot.
Yeah. I think the heat is like an underrated thing, because when I was living in Chicago, I only wanted to go out at night, or like if I was to go to a pool, like I would go out, but like I didn't really want to do anything outside because it was just constantly sweating and like feeling uncomfortable, and that just like takes a toll on you. So then you only can like be inside type of thing. Like,
yeah.
I think obviously what's sad, what is it, seasonal affective disorder?
Yeah.
I think it does have to do with vitamin D and stuff and like physical things, but I think the main thing is really being outside, and then just where you live when is most comfortable for you to go outside. Like as soon as I have to have like a heavy jacket and wear pants, I'm like, the depression starts. But like for you, it's like you don't want to go outside right now because it's way too fucking hot.
Yeah, I think things that helped me is like, I will just turn my air conditioner down and like pretend like I started lighting fall like pumpkin candles, and that's made me happy. And then also just knowing that it's gonna get better, and like summer's almost over, and like, you know, just taking it as it is. Like, yeah, I get kind of unmotivated in the summer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And doing the normal things that help against depression, like, trying to work out or journal or, the stupid things we always hear that actually work, even though we don't want to do them. Like, they actually help.
That is hard though, when there's more, like, for winter depression, I feel like there's more things that people tell you to do, like taking vitamin D or the lamps or things like that are like possible to do. But I also think it might have to do a lot with school and just generally feeling burnt out by the end of the year. And then, like, it's fine. Soak up these summers while you're in school and having actual summer. Like, I think that's totally fine to sleep all summer. And
and don't feel guilty about resting.
Yeah, like, that's the time that you should be resting. So then you will, when fall starts and you start school again, then you'll feel more motivated and, like, capable. And maybe you need to, like, have more breaks or schedule more time in spring going into summer where you, like, have that recouping time. Because that's the most stressful, like, finals and everything.
Yeah.
This is a quick one. Someone says, what's your favorite dish that you make, a savory or baked good? I love making pasta. I'm really good at, like, all kinds of pasta or chicken enchiladas. I love making.
What's your favorite pasta that you make?
Probably fettuccine alfredo. I love fettuccine alfredo. Or I usually just make, like, 4-cheese ziti. That's, like, what I make a lot of the time.
That's yummy.
I've been making tortellini soup. It's probably been my favorite thing that I make recently.
I saw that and I've never had tortellini soup, so I'd really like to try that.
It
is
so
that like
fucking good.
What is the name? Is there, like, a name for it, or is it just tortellini soup?
I think it's just tortellini soup. It's just like a
I think
random
you could do different flavors
online.
and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know what my favorite thing is that I make. I make really good salmon and steak.
I have never tried to make steak.
It's so like
very. That's a good skill to have, I think.
Yeah,
that is
I think
really
I've
good.
spent, like, a number of years fucking it up, so now I've, like, perfected it.
I always make Cameron put the raw meat in whatever thing that I'm cooking it in, and then I make him check it when it's done that it's fully cooked, because I get so scared, especially chicken. I'm like, that's pink. Yeah. He's like, no, it's not. I'm like, it's
you
not
make your
cooked.
steak well done.
I like my steak more cooked. Yeah,
like, it's brown.
Like, I get it, like, medium well, usually at, like, a restaurant.
Crazy.
I think I'm done eating steak and burgers.
I know a lot of people have stopped. Actually, I think one of my uncles had stopped eating, or no, my cousin stopped eating red meat for the most part.
Well, so that food documentary thing on Netflix, I don't know what it's called. It's new. So they're talking about, like, how meat, like, it really can contaminate a lot of things, and you think you're being safe when you're making chicken, and then you touch the sink, and then you touch the trash can, and then you retouch the sink. Like, you think you're being careful, but it's getting all the fuck over the place. Yeah. And they talk about, like, all the deaths from salmonella and from E. coli and all that stuff. And I'm like, at the beginning, I'm like, I'm going vegetarian. Like, this is horrible. I cannot eat this meat. And then most of the whole documentary is that how lettuce is the worst. Like, you get sick more from the vegetables and lettuce than other things. Like, all of these scientists were like, we don't eat romaine lettuce. Like, romaine lettuce is...
You're safe, Maggie, because you don't eat vegetables.
Is it because I eat
a lot of romaine lettuce, though. And we were eating a bagged Caesar salad from Taylor Farms while we were watching it, and they were like, Taylor Farm, like, I don't eat bagged salad. Like, I don't touch that.
We have definitely had circumstances where, like, we've bought lettuce and, like, it is, like, there's something wrong with it. And
they said the most E. coli comes from Yuma.
Comes from what?
Yuma. Which is, like, definitely where, like, most of the lettuce goes. And it goes, like, all over the country and out of the country. But yeah, anyways.
I thought you were speaking, like, a different language.
What is that? No, just Arizona things. Okay. I live in Utah, and I love my job and the town I live in. My boyfriend is from my hometown in rural Nevada, and after doing a year of long distance, we recently bought a house. Recently bought a house in our hometown. I really don't want to move back to Nevada, but I'm afraid if I don't move back and move in, we won't work out. I feel like he's the person I'm supposed to be with, but I'm supposed to stay in Utah. There's no convincing him to move. Should I break up with him and stay here? Move home? Wait it out? Help.
Yikes.
I know.
Did she say more of her reasons for why she needed to be in Utah? Did I miss that?
No, just that she loves it. I don't know. Like, that's like full compromise. Maybe you could like see if he would want to live in one of the places for like a few years, or like if you did move to Nevada, if he would be down to promise to then move back to Utah eventually.
Or you could see like how you like Nevada.
But then
Like,
she would lose her
yeah.
job.
Yeah, she'd have
It's
to
like you
fully
gotta
move.
choose between.
oh, that is hard. Does she love her job? Like, is it
She
like
didn't say. You don't have more info.
I
Seems
think
like
it
she
depends on like
likes
your
Utah.
reasons for like loving Utah. Like if
Oh,
it's
she loves her job in capital letters. I
oh
love my job in the town I live in.
But like your job's not gonna tuck you in at night.
That's kind
But
of
it
what I feel.
depends-
Do you love your boyfriend more or the
If
city
you
more?
really,
But-
I feel like if you really loved your boyfriend, then it would be an easy decision.
yeah.
Like, I feel like what would make you more sad to lose, the city or your boyfriend?
I don't know though. If I was like, but the job too. I think the job is underrated. If you love a job,
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
I
something.
know.
Don't like underestimate that because
But also,
not
it's like,
everyone
is
feels
your
that way.
brain telling you you could find someone else? Like,
Yeah. It
Or
also
you
I
could
think
wait
depends
it
on like
out.
why you like your town. Like, is it for your friends and family, and like friends and family are like a top priority to you, or do you just like the vibe of your town? I think if like it's something to do with friends and family, I would also heavily consider staying because especially if like that's your personality and your vibe, because it would be, I think, really painful to move away from that, and then your
Yeah.
job too.
Yeah, like I
Yeah.
would think you should discuss with him, like, yeah, maybe if you did long distance longer, but I think with all long distance, there needs to be like a solution at the end, and he would
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
want the solution to be you moving.
Yeah.
So you'll just come up to the same issue in a few years if you did wait it out.
I guess you could see like for a couple months like how the long distance goes and like how you like Nevada when you visit. Because it
Yeah,
might surprise you. It might be like, oh, actually this could be really cool.
that's true.
And
I feel like I'm trying to imagine if Cameron was like, we're moving to Kansas or something where I like didn't want to
know.
move, and what I would do. I
I was
feel like we
thinking
would
the same thing.
compromise of like, okay, we could do that, but like we're not staying there forever.
Yeah.
that was like the most annoying storyline on Friends when Chandler got a job in Oklahoma and had to like was flying back and forth every week
Yeah, that's
between New
like,
York and
what?
Oklahoma.
That's so unrealistic too.
So dumb. But Monica was like, "No, I'm not moving," because she had a job that she loved too
Yeah.
in New York.
I think if I was like really dead set on a job too, like you couldn't really make me move. You couldn't tell me like you're moving to
Yeah,
some random place.
you're in a sticky situation. I don't know.
I think I would test out long distance and see if like there's something I'm missing about Nevada, or I don't know.
Yeah, or even like
And
see
I
if
would
you can stay there a
question
week
Or
if
like
this
could you
is
do like
end all be all relationship for you.
yeah.
Do some soul searching.
Mm-hmm. It's like when you're trying to pick somewhere to eat, and then you're like, should we go to McDonald's or Taco Bell? And then you're like, okay, Taco Bell. And then you try
yes.
to think about if that made you sad and if you actually wanted McDonald's.
Yeah.
Try to do that.
Mhm.
I like
Yeah.
that. I like
Which
that
would make you more
analogy.
sad.
Do some role playing in your head.
Yeah.
What would you do if?
Imagine this. Yeah, and just like meditate on it.
Should we do one last question?
Sure. This one's weird because it's kind of it's more about me. But I want to answer it because I feel like this girl, I'll read it and then I'll tell you. Okay, she said, I feel like we are all truly anti-hero girls. I love that everyone is just like pulling out all the Taylor Swift quotes in our thing. Like, this is making me very happy. I don't know if you've heard the song, but I just feel like we can all relate to it so hard. Sadly. But at least it's a great song. I also just wanted to say that Maggie, your relationship with Cameron is such an inspiration for me in the future when I start dating. I'm still 19, I'm shy, and I'm an anxious introvert. I will truly be striving to have the communication you two have with each other. You're not afraid to talk about how you both are feeling and communicate your emotions or disagreements in a rational way. It's not something you see every day, especially coming from someone like me with parents who are horrible at communicating everything. But I just thought that was so weird because communication is our biggest issue. So I read that and I was like, that's interesting to me that people pick up from what I'm putting out that we're really great at communication.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think that what you put out is that you guys make a big effort for communication, which is really awesome.
Yeah.
Like you make an effort to figure out how to communicate better on a constant basis. And you share a lot of like solutions that have helped you guys communicate better, which I think are things that like there are certain things that you guys do that I just don't think of. And that probably helps your communication a lot more.
That's probably because we struggle with it so much that it's the number one thing that we have to.
You're putting forth the effort in.
Put forth all the time. Yeah. I just wanted to read that quickly because I want it. Like, I don't want people to perceive something that's not necessarily true or like think of us or like want to have a relationship like that or something when we struggle with it ourselves and look to other people to better our communication.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do just like a quick one or something fast. What is our favorite drink from Starbucks for fall?
Oh, I don't know if I have a favorite drink right now.
My drink year-round, grande iced mocha, 2 pumps mocha, 1 pump of vanilla with vanilla sweet cold foam instead of whipped cream.
Ooh, you know what I'm going to get? An iced chai tea latte with oat milk with pumpkin cream cold foam on it.
Ooh, that would be good.
You guys.
That sounds bomb. Because in the winter, I do the sugar cookie cold foam on it. And it tastes like Christmas in a cup.
I really liked is creme brulee Christmas? I'm not like, I don't like pumpkin spice. I don't really like any of the pumpkin, but I do love a dirty chai.
Yeah, I have yet to get my chai dirty, but because it's like,
going to be
like $15.
Yeah, no, it's fucking absurd how expensive.
Wait, what is a dirty? What does that mean? Is it
There's
like a martini?
Espresso in it. There's espresso inside the chai, and I do oat milk with it.
Oh, so a normal chai is just chai tea, and then a dirty chai would be. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I don't like pumpkin either, but I love pumpkin bread.
Oh, I love pumpkin bread. I love pumpkin chocolate chip cookies. I'm excited about pumpkin.
Same.
Ooh,
like pumpkin oatmeal chocolate chip cookies.
Starbucks used to have, when I was a child, a big pumpkin cookie, and half of it was covered in dark chocolate, and then the other half was like sprinkled with dark chocolate, and it was so good.
Yum.
And they don't have it anymore.
Wow.
That's devastating.
Fuck them.
I know, but I always want to like make it every fall because it reminds me.
Okay, was there a time where Starbucks didn't have like baked goods and stuff? There was, right?
They always had like at least like a chocolate chip cookie and a brownie and like the main few.
I feel like I always used to get like either a muffin or a banana nut bread. But I don't
like
think
get something when you were little
and stuff. What?
Would you get something when you were little? Like I would always get chocolate milk when my mom would go.
My mom would get me pup cups.
Get you a pup?
Yeah, me and my sister. I mean, they weren't called that, but she would get us little cups of whipped cream. And now that I have a dog, I'm like, oh my god, my mom got us pup cups.
That is genius, honestly. That is a mom hack.
I loved it. Yeah.
Does your Dutch Bros have the new cups? The new pup cups?
Oh no, what is it?
What are they? What are they?
I mean, maybe,
cute.
but
they have like all these little designs on the cup itself. It's not just like a regular Dutch Bros cup. It's like specific for the dogs. It's just cute. I'm so happy.
I like that they put a treat on it though. I think that's cute.
Yeah, they put like treats and then they put, I don't even know it. I have a video of it, but yeah. Joe's still
surprising they do that for free everywhere.
I know.
Yeah.
I guess Starbucks set the precedent, or wherever set the precedent for it. So no one can really charge now.
But also like Dairy Queen, like you can get soft serve. This is such a hack for my children. I'm just gonna act like I have dogs and then get them small cups of soft serve.
You're a genius.
Yeah. Her mom's a genius.
No, but the ice cream cones. Rosie's like now anytime we enter a drive-through though, goes fucking ape shit. Like no matter what drive-through it is, she's like, there is a pup cup here. Like I am gonna get whipped cream.
And then if I don't get them one, then they start trying to lick my cold foam off the top. And I'm like,
Oh my
no.
God, Willow
Or
does
even
that.
but any drive-through, like if we go to like Taco Bell, like she's like going crazy.
Where's
in
my
the
pup
back
cup?
seat. Yeah, she's like, what do you got for
my
me?
pup cup?
Sorry, girly. That's funny.
That's so funny. Should we do one more? There's one more, like included. Like then we're through all of them. I'm 25 years old and I'm finishing my business administration degree, but I hate corporate work. I feel too old to invest in being a translator and being able to work from home. I really need your advice. So I assume she wants to be a translator and isn't enjoying the corporate work. And she's still finishing her degree. I think you're not too old whatsoever. And I was telling my mom this other day, there's so many things like dance, for example, or something that I wanted to start at like 10 or at 13 or at these older ages where I thought everyone's been doing it since they were 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Like I can't be good at that. But if I would have started that shit when I was freaking 10, then I would be great at it now.
Yeah.
So you have to think like you're only 25. You could fully restart everything. You could not get your degree. You could fully switch your degree. You could change everything. And like, you'd be glad that you did that now, 10 years from now.
You could always see what sort of internships or like, you know, night things that you could do after school. Whether, I don't know what exactly you need to be a translator, but you could kind of see how different people have done it. And I'm sure there's a lot of different opportunities. Like, I'm sure there's things where you could like translate books for people, or like, are you helping translate like, you know, people's business stuff for them? Like, maybe just explore your options, because that was like the biggest thing when I was in school. I thought there was one path, like there was one job. And like,
and that you have to decide when you're 18. Like,
and even like once I expanded a little bit more in school, I was like, no, there's just like one job for me. And then like I'll like work up within the company or something. And now seeing like the online space, there's so many different verticals and like applications to what you want to do. So taking the time to kind of explore all those things and see which one is the best fit for you.
And there's so many resources online to be able to learn new things or teach new things or try new things or, you know, help people on social media. So I think you should always try if you really want something. Like you can even start doing it by yourself and teach yourself and then find opportunities that way.
Yeah. Dev, you did that, right? With graphic design.
Did you? I realized I wanted to be a graphic designer. Like it was like my capstone class. I had to design a website and I was like, wow, I really love this. And then I graduated and I got a job.
Is your capstone class your last class? What is that?
Yeah, it's like your big end of the year or end of the whatever thing. Yeah, and then I got a job at a ad agency writing stuff for them, but I worked in the room with their graphic designers and I was just like, this shit is so cool. This is what I want to do. And so I taught myself. I just started doing it.
Yeah. I think that's awesome.
How did you know, like, how did you feel ready to do that? Or like, please fucking stop. There's someone right.
I would just start playing around and doing it for myself. And then I got a job at an advertising agency that my friend worked at, and they were losing their graphic designer. And I said that I wanted to be a graphic designer, and they just said, okay, let's see what you can do. Like, try it. And so I like spent a lot of time watching videos and taking online classes and learning how to use the tools. And I just got better and better as I went.
That's really cool. Like, that's an amazing amount of confidence too, to have, to be like, I didn't plan to do this, but I'm going to put myself forward for this and kind of fake it till you make it.
Yeah. It's kind of weird because I always like, I felt like an imposter because I didn't like go to school for it, but also like I still needed to do it, I guess.
Yeah. And you did so much of it probably before too, like just in hobbies and like for fan Twitter and whatnot.
That's good. More like Instagram stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, so Instagram.
MySpace.
Yeah. It's never too late to pivot. And then Deb, you quit your job and then you became full-time creator.
That's the problem with
Multiple.
hyperfixations. They end.
But that's the thing, like you could go to school at freaking 65, 70. I had older people in some of my classes, and like it's such a scary thing to feel like you have to commit to something forever, but you don't need to at all. You could fully change careers at any time in life.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much to everyone who left us questions. We appreciate it so much. Like I said, you can go to our Google form anytime and leave some more. Make sure you're subscribed to us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok. Leave us a review. Yes, please.
Please.
Wherever you listen to podcasts. And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.